I'm Patrick Davidson. On December 4th, 2017, the Thomas Fire ravaged hillsides, farms, and homes throughout Ventura County. Thousands of lives were changed forever. This is one of the inspirational, first-person stories from the community of heroes who came together to fight back, to rescue friends and strangers, and to survive and heal. On this episode of ReCAPS, our Thomas Fire storytellers are Debbie Brokaw and her crew from the Brokaw Ranch.
Most of the people, they don't know the ranch, and we're talking about the flames about 3 feet, 4 feet high. This flame was probably 10 feet.
They are more than just the people who do the work. They certainly didn't give up. So yeah, none of us will be giving up. I'm Debbie Brokaw Jackson, and I'm one of the owners of the ranch. My mother is still alive, and there are 5 of us children, and we all are owners. Jose and his wife live on the ranch.
We live in the ranch, yeah. My wife called me and said, Jose, the fire, it's got some fire. Where? She just came from Circle Park. Oh my gosh.
All the families got out.
All the families got out. When she called me and said, you better get out. You better get out. Well, I said, where'd I go? Go your mom or your daughter or somewhere, but you need to get out. And say, okay, we'll pick up the stuff. We was thinking about all the house gonna be burning. She picked up all the papers, important papers, you know, and she left.
The ranch is up Santa Paula Canyon, between Santa Paula and Ojai, across Santa Paula Creek, and it's about, how far is it from Stucco Park?
It's about a mile.
Just a mile before Stucco Park. So we were right at the beginning of the fire.
I drove back to Santa Paula. While I was driving, I was thinking how they're gonna do it. I called everybody from our co-workers and told them be prepared, make sure stay there so we meet in the ranch so we can plan, and that's how we start that night. We was watching because our water system was down. Our engine was down, so we wasn't much water left in the reservoir, and so we can't waste the water. We can't just turn on water like crazy. So we just told them, well, we're gonna plan it. I'm gonna be watching how fast the fire came through us, and I'll let you guys know what time you start the water, because I want the water just be soaking when this fire hit us. So, and that's exactly what we do. When fire pass through, our water's finished. The fire, it melt our surface pipes, and it's so our water irrigation was gone. So, but it's already past the fire. The fire started about 6:30, something like that. It was a big gusties.
It's a big ranch, and there are a lot of areas where the fire can come in.
Yeah.
So
it was hard to keep tracking, but I know that night it was fly, because it was short night. It was very exhaust,
When you talk about strategy, the thing is that we have a fire strategy. Every year we prepare and we get all of the equipment together and we bring in extra people and train them, and we figure out where everybody's going to be and what they should do. Completely useless in this case, because the fire came so fast and there was so much wind and we couldn't get people in because the roads were blocked immediately. And so Jose had to come up with a new strategy on the fly.
Yeah, this is the time you heard your heart, what to do. And my heart is saying, you need to stay here. You need to save what you can save. But it was too much responsibility for me, because all the crew was dependent on me, and they don't do anything if I don't say anything. If I say you need to go that hill and fight that, they go. But I was very careful to say any words to these people. So we would do it just very saved things and with percussion, and make sure they told them, we get together, say, listen, we don't want any heroes, we don't want anybody who try to save nothing, just save you lives first, and then we save whatever is around us, okay? But make sure, listen to me, and I'll guide you guys. Don't do anything by yourself. And then but they understood, so that's that way do it.
Huge burden.
Yeah.
But you didn't make anyone stay.
No, making anyone stay. I just gonna go get prepared for that fire, and I told one of the meetings we got the opportunity to get together, and we went to the office because it was so dark. We were lighting with a flashlight, and I say, listen, if anybody feel scary, you guys can go, just. But if you guys need light to be work together, we're gonna work in the safe way. We're not gonna be working like crazy, so we have to be working in order, so in safe first, okay? So and then they were okay. I was very pleased. All the people working, all the effort they do it. We're talking about the flames about 3 feet, 4 feet high. This flame was probably 10 feet, so couldn't do anything. We soaking around the houses, around the office, around, so the destruction, who can keep going, like office, and Debbie's house, and Ellen's house, and my house, and other houses, and equipment. So that's what was our priority to prevent and save it. We lose some garage and all office.
The old office, which we had moved out of, luckily.
Yeah.
Part of our fire strategy is that we put sprinklers on the roofs of all these structures. We had just finished the week before the fire on some of them, and that is what saved them.
Saved.
And the crew, and that was a strategy, because there's the water system to figure out when to start that water on the roofs.
Yeah.
So that was a strategic decision that worked.
Yeah. So we can. I know everybody was using city water, because this is from city water, and we got a connection from city water and irrigation water. So we don't want to use it like crazy, because everybody was using water. Everybody, they are using at the same line, all other growers. And we were in the same situation. I call Pete Fellini. He called me, Jose, you feel free, use all the water you can, all your water is possible. And he says we're gonna be turning on the well. But the problem is the power, it's off about
immediately.
Immediately. So that well, it's by power. So I mean, it's so we ran out of pressure, we ran out of water. So that's why we changed our plan. We use two-way radios, communicating with me and our crew. When it was all no power, there's no way to recharge, and we have no communication except me,
because I didn't know that part.
Yeah, because mine I have in my truck. It's recharged by 12 volts, so it was only me. And I say, just charge from my truck. It was charging real quick charging, so it can have a little bit left so you can talk. But all the communication, we lose it. We lose the telephones, because nobody can recharge.
The worst of it was at night, right?
Yeah.
But they were fighting that fire 24 hours, hard. And then you were still putting out spot fires for 10 days.
For 10 days.
10 days. It kept popping up again, and we had to do patrols every night for at least
1 week.
Yeah, I think that was 10 days too.
Yeah.
And the thing about this whole story to me is that these guys, we didn't tell them they had to go fight that fire. We were expecting them to save themselves, and they didn't. And they worked. It was very humbling. They worked so hard, and when we got to the ranch, when my mother and I got to the ranch the next day, because we couldn't get back in, We finally got in. There was just a little window where they let us in, then they closed the road again. We got in, and every one of those guys came up to us with tears in their eyes and apologized because they hadn't been able to save more. And that is a humbling experience. And we are so grateful to them, and everyone should be grateful to them, because all of these, and it wasn't just us, it happened on many, many farms which are around the cities. And I think that these guys saved a lot. They saved a lot of people's property.
And that night, I was looking how the ranch was burning. Say, how are you gonna do? How are you gonna do that next week? This next week, this tree's gonna need water. Well, and that night I ordered hose.
In the middle of fighting the fire.
Yeah, I ordered hose.
New irrigation hose.
New irrigation hoses, because I knew it's gonna be melted from the fire. So I make a little time, say, well, what are we gonna do? And I step back and do some things to do. Like I order some fuel, I order some the hoses and some parts, and with nobody been ordered before. So I buy like 100 rolls, just only 100 rolls of hose they have available. I leave message with the salesperson. Next morning he called me. I got you order. This will be here middle of the week. But we couldn't put it in because the soil was so hot. So we just try to put it in quickly, and it's still melting that hose because the soil is rocks and fire things that it was still burning. So we don't put that right away.
There were I don't know how many times we talked.
Oh, all night.
But I was trying to be careful I was trying not to call him too often because I knew he was so busy, so we were texting some and calling some. And there were points where he sounded a little panicky. And I kept saying, I think you should leave.
Yeah.
And he said, oh no, we're safe. We're in this place this newly planted place, which later burned, by the way.
Yeah.
But he told me he was safe. And I tried to get the fire, there was no firefighters to be seen anywhere. And so I was trying to get firefighters in there. And then the worst part was he called, this was actually the next day, during the day, mid-morning. He called and said, your mom's house is gone. And so we spent, my sister and I and my mom and my daughter, we were all together, and we spent about 4 hours processing this idea that everything was gone of my mom's. And my mom and dad had lived there for 30 years, something like that. And then he called and said, it's still there.
Yeah.
But it was in gold. There were flames. You couldn't see it.
Well, because it was full of flames, that new office and the garage, and the eucalyptus around, and we see from fire. Say, oh gosh, Ellen's house is burning. We tried to get into with the truck, but the tractor, the sheriff's tractor, was burning big flames, like 20 feet tall flames. And we tried to go with the water truck, put in water, and we can't do anything because all around is burning. I was concerned about get fire from the water truck. It has outside filled tanks, so I told these guys better leave because I don't want a surprise. So later, we was make another turn. I was see more clear. Everything was burned except the house, because the house, we turned it on, the sprinkles, and was dripping a little bit of water. Yeah. David called me one day, say, "What do you need, Jose?" "I need to eat." Yeah.
When I first went, I'm not on the ranch. I'm hearing Jose talk about this fire. And he basically said, at one point he said, all of Mupu is burning, which is part of the ranch. All of Mupu is burning. And another time he said, everything there in Chiravo is, your mom's house, everything there is burning. And so I had this picture in my mind of it just being flattened. When we got there, I thought, oh, that's not so bad. The trees are all still there. That's not so bad.
We don't know which direction we should go. I don't have experience and burning trees like this time, so we didn't know. I just said, well, we're gonna go through priorities. Like good trees. That's the same trees got to have a potential for production in the future. We're going to be prioritize those trees. And wherever other trees, it's going to be like a hospital, like a bad
triage.
Yeah, like dead people. Just forget it. Just make sure that the injured people, and so that's what we do, and that's what we try to do, and
we're still doing.
You still do it.
As time goes by and those trees get browner and browner and browner, it starts looking pretty bad. But you don't know for a long time. So we've just done our first pretty good, I think we're feeling pretty good about the validity of this estimate. And we think we lost about 60 acres. That's about 40% of our planting. It's mostly avocados. We lost a few other things, but it's mostly avocados. And then we lost some structures and some equipment and all of our irrigation, a lot of our flood control. That adds up to a lot of money. But the big loss is the production in the few years to come. Jose worked with my dad for years and years and years, and that ranch was my dad's baby. And he planted all kinds of stuff in all kinds of strange places. And one of the things he did was every time they would make a planting and they would make a fire break around the planting, is he would look at that beautiful bare ground and say, let's just plant that. So we didn't have good fire breaks. And avocado trees, we've certainly learned, burn better than anything else that we grow.
We should keep clean, bigger fire break.
Leaf litter.
Leaf litter around. Because it's, in this situation, it's not working. Maybe it's not work, even if you have fire breaks. But at least it's not started quickly. At least it's going to be start from the middle. And if we start from the middle, it's an amber. It's going to start slow. But if you don't have fire break, it's going to start fast, and they're going to give you a less chance to control it.
We don't have to do exactly what we've always done in the past. In a lot of ways, you could look at this. You could look at this as an opportunity, because we don't have to replant to all avocados. We can look and think about other crops. We can think about other ways of planting. We can do all kinds of different things. We just have to figure out. We just have to come up with what those might be. We're not there yet. We're beginning to think about that. And then after the fire, following day, things had calmed down a little bit. You weren't actively trying to keep everything from burning down. You were mopping up mostly. But the road had been closed again. And we have a bigger crew than those 6 people. So there were another 4 people trying to come to work, and they couldn't get through the blockade. So they parked and they walked across the creek so they could get to work, so they could help.
Yeah.
And then for the next month, at least, people were working 7 days a week, because we had to get that irrigation back in, because we're still, still dry, still windy, still putting out fires, still trying to save what we can. And then one day, this also brought tears to my eyes. One day they came to Jose and said, we don't want to get paid overtime. Because you should tell that story.
Yeah. What they told me, is say, are we going to be working tomorrow, which was Saturday? I said, yes. And what about Sunday? No, Sunday we just take off. No, we can go to work Sunday. Tell Debbie, tell Ellen, we can work Sunday with no pay overtime, even no pay anything. Just gonna do it ourselves.
We didn't let them do that, but
yeah.
It certainly reminded us, we the owners, of how much we rely and how valuable our workforce is. They are more than just the people who do the work. We had a meeting with them the day after the fire, I think. We brought everybody together. And they said things like, we're going to make this place better than it was before. They certainly didn't give up. So yeah, none of us will be giving up.